Mr. Andrews, and I'm proud to be your child's teacher this school year. Just a reminder why we're all here and why you're watching this video is for these guys. I do everything I can to make sure they have a happy day and a great day and learn as much as they possibly can. A couple things for you to know about me is exactly what I just shared with you, which is my goal, and that's for every single student to walk through the school doors saying or thinking, "I'm excited to be here today." I want nothing more than for every child to come into school excited to learn, ready to learn. So our daily schedule looks something like this. Pretty much every day is the same. We have writing followed by math, recess, and lunch. After lunch, we typically do our reading workshop. Most days we have an hour of science or social studies followed by our PE and specials, and we wrap up our day with some word work and then some silent reading. Keep these in mind as you go to schedule your doctor's appointments and days that kids might need to leave early or come late to school. I want to talk to you about how you can help your kids at home. So in third grade, in reading specifically, our main goal is to transition the kids from learning how to read to reading to learn. So we transition from fluency or the phonics into the comprehension. So, like I said, my main goal is for you to understand how you can help your kids do better and how you can be a support for them at home. One of the pages that you'll see on my website is this one here. It's a reading strategies sheet. It's a good way for you to talk with your kids about the materials they read, the books they read, the literature they read. And we focus on a few main strategies such as making connections, visualizations, I wonder statements, stop and ask questions, making inferences. These are all comprehension skills that the kids will learn and practice in third grade. And it helps to transition them from lower level thinking such as write their answers, who are the characters, what are their names, when did this happen, to more deeper level thinking, the why questions, the what if questions, the how. Another thing you can do at home, and you'll have a lot to do with, is the spelling. So some background on our spelling program. It focuses on spelling patterns and rules. Each of the lists that the children come home with every Monday, they're individualized based off of a pre-test that they take. Those pre-tests are done on Mondays, and as well on Monday, the new homework comes home, and we do tic-tac-toe in third grade. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And then every Friday is the test for spelling. So how do we get the individualized list? Well, as you see on the screen, the gray column is the pre-test words. All the kids are given these pre-test words. These are considered third grade level words. However they do on that pre-test determines where they end up with, what words they end up with for the week. So as you can see, list 1, list 2, list 3 is all dependent upon how many words they've missed. Generally speaking, list 1 is considered a slightly below grade level list. List 2 is considered an on grade level list, and list 3 is considered an above grade level list. So however the kids do on the pre-test, that determines what level they'll be on for the week. And as you can see, all the words on all the lists follow the same rule. So the homework that they'll be doing will look like this. It's a tic-tac-toe sheet. As you look at that tic-tac-toe sheet, you'll notice on the left-hand column that's where they'll be writing their spelling words. Spelling words are also written inside their assignment books. The tic-tac-toe, I'm expecting them to do 3 of these boxes per week, preferably in a tic-tac-toe, whether that's across or diagonal, vertically, horizontally, whatever it may be. The idea, the best way for you to help them at home is to encourage them to do one of the tic-tac-toes, and then really working towards mastering 2 to 3 words every single night. So for example, to have them master words 1 and 2 on Monday night. Then on Tuesday night, they're going to master 3 and 4, but also review 1 and 2. So it's almost like giving a nightly quiz and building and building and building. So night 1, 1 and 2. Night 2, they're learning number 3 and 4, but you're quizzing them on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so on and so forth. The other thing you can do is practice with your kids verbally. Maybe you're driving them to dance or to baseball practice, wherever you may be taking them, and just simply asking them, okay, name one of your spelling words, now spell it for me. So just keeping that on the forefront of their mind. Talk a little bit about writing and how you can help with writing at home. Really, most of the writing is going to take place at school, so there's not a ton for you to do. And that's because our strategies are a little bit different than the way you and I learned. We were mostly focused on our mechanics, or our spelling and our punctuation, making sure we had complete sentences. In today's school system, what we're really looking to do is to develop kids' ideas and thought processes. It's about the process of taking a piece of writing from brainstorming all the way through to publishing. So these are 3 things that you really should consider if you are helping your children write at home, so that they don't get bogged down in things that we are not at the forefront of our efforts. So the 3 things you can do, number 1 is focus your effort. Don't correct every little thing, choose 1 or 2 things. We really try to focus on the message of their writing. What message are they trying to convey to the reader? And how do they develop that further? And then simply encouraging accurate mechanics, reminding them that spelling is important and punctuation and capitalization are important, but that's not what it's all about. Cursive handwriting, you've seen a few practice sheets come home already. Cursive handwriting is very systematic. It's the same cursive they learned in 2nd grade. We just take it a little bit further. The expectations are a little higher, and then we do teach all of the capital letters this year. By January, when they come back from winter break, we are expecting them to use 100% cursive. That'll be on a kid-by-kid basis, but for the most part, kids are ready for that come January 1st. So everything they end up turning in to me will need to be turned in cursive. Taking a look at math. In math, we're using a program called Investigations. It's, as the slide shows, it's an innovative approach. It looks at math problems in a different way. It's all about taking math and breaking it apart and looking at how many different ways you can solve it. We all learn the traditional algorithms, and when our kids come home and try to show us the way that Mr. Andrews or another one of their teachers show them to do math, we often look a lot like this. We get frustrated. So 2 things I want you to remember as your kids come home and ask for help with math. Number 1 is understand. Understand they're learning to think in a totally different way than the way you and I learned. And secondly is keeping that positive mindset. Helping them remember and realize that, yes, you're learning a new way of doing things. You're looking at things in a different way. You'll understand math in a whole different way. Take-home folders you've seen coming home every single night. This is what the front cover looks like. Please make sure it comes back to school every single day. This is how I get mail home to you guys. This is where you'll find return work with grades on it, and then any advertisements or flyers that need to come home, they'll all be in this take-home folder. There are 2 sides to the folder, a keep-at-home side, anything that doesn't need to come back to school, and then a return to school, anything, a form that needs to be turned back into the office, homework that needs to be returned, that's what you'll find on that side. Also inside that take-home folder, typically the kids will stick their assignment books inside there. So this is the first year for them doing assignment books and writing down their homework. The inside of the homework book looks very similar to this, and just a basic outline of what it looks like. In reading, expect 15 to 20 minutes a night of reading, and typically there's not a lot of writing that goes with it. It's just taking the time to read and focus and think. In spelling, there's the new tic-tac-toe, which we've already addressed. In math, you've seen some of the homework come home. Eventually, once we get into doing more of our basic facts and addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, I'll be asking you to help out with those at home. Typically, it'll just be doing some flashcards or finding a game online, something along those lines, not a written sheet that needs to be returned. In science and social studies, usually there's not a worksheet. It's talking to your parents. Teach your parents how to do this. Tell your parents what we learned about in science today or social studies, whatever it might be. And then if there's ever an assignment that needs to be returned, there'll be a due date on it. It'll say due tomorrow or due Friday, whatever it might be. Okay? And some of you have been signing the assignment books. You don't need to sign them anymore. That's not necessary. Grading policy in 3A is very simplistic and straightforward. Check plus, check, check minus. You really want to see your kids striving for a check. That means they're meeting the grade level expectations. We're transitioning to new report cards this year. And the report card grades are based off of standards that have been identified by the state of Missouri as the academics that children should be capable of doing by the end of the school year. And that's really what these grade marks stand for. Okay, so your check mark means they've met the expectation of a 3rd grader by the end of the school year. A check plus means they've exceeded that expectation, whether they've exceeded sooner That could be a possible check plus, or they've exceeded it beyond what a third grader is expected to do. And then a check minus means that they're below what the expectation is for that time of year as well as for that standard. Perhaps you heard of our batter up board that hits and strikes in the classroom. Just a brief idea of what it looks like and how it works. Basically, when the kids do something great, they get a hit, and it goes along with the standard baseball single, double, triple home run. And we have rewards set up that the kids have voted on and agreed to. The whole point of my system is to focus on the positives, to want to do well because there's a reward for it, because it's the right thing to do. We do have some negatives. We have the strikes, and as you can see on the screen, there are our consequences for the number of strikes that they earn. One thing to keep in mind with our behavior system is that every day is a new day. So if a kid earned 2 strikes yesterday, they come in tomorrow, it's a whole new day. Same thing with hits with hits. They earn a single, they earn a double, they come back and it's a whole new day. Now, if they earn a triple or a home run, they're able to save that and cash that in whenever they choose to. And finally, just communication. You've already seen lots of long emails coming home from Mr. Andrews. But if you ever need to get in contact with me, you can call me on this voicemail number. It will send me an email when I have a voicemail so I can listen to it via email. You obviously have my email address, and then our classroom website, you're already on it because you're watching this video, is another place that you can access information about our classroom. So I want to thank you guys for listening to this presentation. If you join us on Open House Night, Curriculum Night, I look forward to seeing you guys. If not, I think your kids feel this way about you not coming. They're so sad. You guys have a great night, and thank you for listening.